Hello there, my Facebook Live friends. It is Candy here from SweetStamper.com with your Tuesday at 2, actually at 3 today. So I had double booked myself and had an appointment, a phone appointment at 2 o'clock. So my apologies for being a little bit delayed here today, but you know, that's where we are. So I'll give it just a couple of minutes to see who wants to jump on with me live here. And there's a lot going on here today. Hey Jana, I'm glad you're here. I had scrapbook class this morning. I'm going to share with you my scrapbook pages. And then we're going to do a little stamping. We are in the throes of retreat prep. So there's a lot of prepping going on. So I have a full weekend retreat coming up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here in San Antonio. And so I've been holding my retreats for the last about a year and a half now. Maybe probably going on 2 years. I've been running 3 retreats a year. Yeah, it's probably 2 years. I've been at the Stone Oak Drury Inn here in San Antonio, right off 1604. So it's really centrally located and really a great space for us. And so that's where we've been. And that's where I'm going to be this time. And then again, coming up in the summer. So that one is already booked and we're excited. Stampin' retreats are, I call them creative escape because it's all about creativity and escaping from your everyday life and just having a weekend that's all about you, a chance to get your unfinished projects done, a chance to get inspired and be motivated and just have your cup filled up by being with other creative people. We have people who work on scrapbooks, people who work on cards, people who work on home decor, people who make rosaries and jewelry and journaling and all kinds of things. So it's about really whatever you want to do. And of course, because it's all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you know, people just slip up to their room and take a nap for a while or craft till 3 in the morning because they want to have pizza delivered at 1 in the morning. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So if you've never been to one of my creative escapes, then you should. So go to SweetStamper.com and I will be sharing about that. Hi Shannon, I'm glad you're here. So at retreat, all of the attendees, they get a really pretty nameplate to mark their space. They get a 6-foot table for the whole weekend and they spread out and then have lots of bags and stuff as well. We have a beautiful retreat bag and we get hi Cheryl, I'm glad you're here. We have goodies inside there, lots of goodies inside the retreat bag, lots of new product, and they're going to then use those things for their make and takes. So at my retreats, our make and takes is really a free class. And so they'll be doing, I think it's 8 projects, and they're really nice projects. And then they also get what we sometimes call pillow gifts in the Stampin' Up! World. They're really just spoiling gifts, and they get a couple of those each day. And they're all handmade, really nice things to just help our attendees feel special and valued. And then we have some add-on classes that people can take advantage of. But we also, I have a co-host for my retreat, and this time it's Cheryl Peary. And so we bring, you see all these stamp sets behind me here. So we bring our stamps, our punches, our dies, and that way people who come to Creative Escape, they can pack pretty light because we have a lot of stuff that we bring, and they can use that all weekend. So that's part of their retreat ticket, is to use all of our stuff. So we'll have stamps, inks, papers. Stampin' Up, we can't just sell paper, but we do have a bin called My Scraps Are Your Scraps. So we have a scrap bin and people take full advantage of that. We do challenges every day. Anyway, lots of fun at retreat, but let's get into today's sharing, and I will start with scrapbook projects from today. So let me flip camera down and see how we get on. Hopefully we see, I've got the arm again. I don't know how I do this. Okay. Haha, there we go. Okay. I'm getting better at this. So you can see my stamps over here. Let's pull this up a little bit to see if we can get a better view of my scrapbook pages. So this is what I was doing this morning with my scrapbookers. And what we do is we do 3 layouts, and I went ahead and put my pictures in. I don't always do that. So they get all their supplies and time to do these layouts. So I am still very much stuck on and in love with the Lily Impressions paper. So these are pictures from England from when we first got there back in the 80s, and back when we had just 2 kids, and so that was how we arrived. I've got a little journaling piece right here, and you can see that I have used the lovely Lily pad stamps, the dies. We've got a little stamping here, and then the coordinating paper. So I'll come back to this page in just a minute. So here is the second page, and this is the paper I'm actually going to be stamping with today. I absolutely adore this paper, and you can see where I've used the dies as well. And then this stamp set, I don't know if you've seen it. It's great for card making. It's also really awesome for scrapbooking, and it's called Praiseworthy Prose. And so you get a couple of these little background stamps that you can use, and you get all of these definitions. And so I kind of put these out there where people can use whichever definition they want. As it turned out, everybody kind of liked the one that I used, which was family. And so I used it here as just to kind of ground my photos. When I'm doing classes, I like to do them pretty open and not super specific so that people can customize them, you know, with their own photos. So this particular one, it says family, and then of course gives you how to pronounce it. And then protectors and guardians, a source of love, connection, and friend and kinship. I took that stamp and then I stamped it on white, and here you can see where I just cut it apart very simply and interposed those onto this page here. So the protectors and guardians, I mean, that was my husband and I a long time ago. We looked like kids there. And then family here, and here's my older son and my daughter on a horse, and then her, this is Tiffany at the wall right there in York, the city wall. And then here where I've got this love, connection, and kinship, again here, and then here they're in front of a stately home. This was definitely not our house that we lived in. This was a stately home that we were visiting. I think we were actually staying there with a youth group. But and then this piece here, I will go back and do some journaling. I will go back and put in some dates and some other information about this. And just to kind of show you, I think that this lotus blossom is just a beautiful, beautiful kind of an emblem of just life, of growth, of vibrancy. So I chose to use that throughout as a little kind of a little customized embellishment that has a lot of broad themes in my view. So this is actually the paper that I'm going to use today for some card making. And you can see I like to put these kind of quote unquote photo mats down, and then I don't use them when I scrapbook. I'm pretty free form with my scrapbooking. So instead of having this like exactly centered, I put it off kilter on purpose. And then like here, I've overlapped. There's white space in between here. I just overlap my photos so that I can just kind of trim to fit and have space to do what I want. And then last but not least, I like to scrapbook out of order. No surprise for my random brain. I kind of go against, it goes against the grain for me to do scrapbooking in chronological order. That just messes with my brain because I always find a picture that I didn't get put into the chronology. So I like to do this kind of free form. And so here I do like to scrapbook pictures of my kids when they were young. And then right next to it, pictures of my grandkids when they're a similar age. So here I've got my grandkids at a similar age. And here is my connector. So I've got my lotus blossom here again. And this is more of that same paper. Now you will see this here, you will be seeing more of in March. That's a sneak peek. This is the dotted vellum. That is a new product coming out in March that you can get for free with your celebration orders. So I really love the way this turned out. I've never done a page quite like this where we kind of took a piece, a 6x6 piece, whacked it in half on the angle, on the diagonal, and then kind of went from there. So those were my scrapbook pages today. And now I am going to make a card with that paper. And this is kind of, I've gotten into the mode with y'all where I do like to just make a card with you guys that I've never made before. So kind of living a little bit dangerously with y'all, and I just like the virtual designing with you. That kind of floats my boat. So what we're going to be using today is this gorgeous, gorgeous stamp set that is from the mini catalog called Beautifully Braided. And I had shown you a card that I had planned to demo with you guys, but I couldn't find the card again. It's kind of been the story of my life here the last couple of weeks, but my studio is upside down and it will be a lot more right side up once I finish retreat. So that particular card is somewhere else in a box, no doubt. Oh, there it is right here. Hey, look at there. Thank you. So this is what I was going to demo with you. And I had done this particular card with this stamp set with my club members, but I'm going to change it up and do things a little bit different with you today. So this was a popular card that I did with my stamp club members. And I'm going to use a lot of these same features, but I'm going to kind of redesign this card. So you tell me what you think about my new design. And I'm going to be using some of this paper. So you can see how this makes such beautiful photo mats for your scrapbook pages. Today, I'm going to be using just a little piece of that. And I'm either going to use this wider one or this narrower one. I haven't decided yet. Now, I kind of need to pull up my computer here just to make sure if anybody's commenting that I'm not missing what you're saying. So, okay, I think we're good. Okay, so what I'm going to start with here is just playing a little bit with this image. Now, this ginkgo, this is a ginkgo leaf. I think the leaves are gorgeous. They're very artsy just in their own, they're beautiful. So this is the image and it fits on our largest block. So that is how big it is. I mean, it's huge. And what I wanted to kind of play with a little bit is, and I didn't get the ink pad out. It is here. My pretty peacock ink pad is here. Whenever you're inking up a really large stamp like this, you want to turn it upside down and apply the ink this way so that you can get a good distribution of ink. Now, you see how artistic, I mean, it's almost architectural, that gorgeous, gorgeous leaf. So I am going to angle that, or actually kind of make it straight like so, because I want to put the designer paper over here. Now, one of the things I have not tried yet, and I wanted to try with you guys, because I just kind of like doing things live with you, is there is a stamp in the set that will do the fill-in for the leaves. And I don't know how that's going to look. When I did this card, we actually used blends to color this. So I don't know exactly how that's going to look. So I thought we'd try it together on camera and just see how we get on. So I'm going to use a lighter shade of called Pool Party of Pretty Peacock. So this is just like a lighter version. And let's just see how this looks if we go in here, that really, I think that's really nice. I don't think that I could do any better with the blends. With the blends, I would just get a much darker look. If I did the blends with the Pretty Peacock. But maybe we'll just do, maybe we'll do it 2 different ways and see which one we like best. Now, I will say this does not, you see how some of these leaves are smaller than others? So some of them are going to fill in completely and some of them won't, and it kind of goes outside the edges, which I kind of like. So Jana, you're liking that too. I think it's kind of a cool look. Now I'm going to, just for kicks, I think that I will try this with the blends and just show you how the different look. I don't want to color the entire thing on camera because I think that's boring personally. I'm figuring that you might have the same sense that I do about that. So let's go back in here and let's ink this up with our Memento, because if we're going to use the blends, we need to use our Memento pad. And I'm going to just close this pad up because I don't want to drop my cardstock in it. And let's just put this right here and see how it will look with the Pretty Peacock blend. Now it's going to be much darker, but it will just be a different look. Now while that's drying, although the tuxedo ink dries very quickly, if you go and start doing your blends before it's completely dried, it will smear. So I like to be on the safe side, and I like to just kind of do something else for a minute. Now, hi Donna, I'm glad you're here. I can either do this, or I can do this wider one, which I think, oh yeah, it kind of covers up. Okay, so that tells me I need to use this lighter one, and my card base is here. So this is where we're kind of building this, and you can see where that has such rich color. Let me take this out from underneath. You see how rich the colors are on this? It just looks, it's really more of a, not a watercolor wash. This is almost like a palette knife artwork. So if you're familiar with palette knife artistry, you know, that technique, that's what this reminds me of. Just big, thick swaths of like acrylic paints. So that is what I'm going to do here. Now this would be very quick and easy if I do it this way. I am going to put a greeting on here, and I'm either going to put a little bit of white flax ribbon or maybe a little bit of this, which I think might be nicer because of the little bit of silver on it. So we will come back to that. Let's see. Here we are. Let's try this and see how it looks with the blends. So the way I like to do this is to use the fine tip, because these are not large leaves at all. And I am just going to go around the outside edge of my ginkgo leaves. And then I'm going to just kind of do some, I want the base of my leaf to have heavier color. And so I'm going to put some kind of streak marks there. And then, again, just kind of going along the edges. And then I'm going to come behind here, again with the fine tip. And I'm just going to fill this in with the lighter shade of Pretty Peacock. It's still pretty vibrant. It's still pretty dark. But it's a little bit smoky. Hey, Barb, I'm glad you're here. And I am liking the colors. So, you know, it's just a really different look. And before I do any more coloring on this, I'm going to ask an opinion here. So you tell me which look you like better for today's card. Do we like number 1? Actually, let's do it this way. Do we like number 1 with the lighter ginkgo leaves, or do we like number 2 with the darker ginkgo leaves? I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to wait for you to weigh in on this. And while I'm waiting, I'm just going to color in a little bit because there's actually a little bit of a delay with comments on Facebook. So I'm going to come back in here and do a little bit more of my coloring in. While I'm waiting for opinions, please state your opinion. Let your voice be heard. Okay, Jana, you like number 1. And number 1 is the lighter version with the pool party. And then number 2 is the darker version with the, where we're using the blends. And I'm actually using the, this is the Pretty Peacock Blends Duo. So anybody else have an opinion here? We're going to go with, Jana has weighed in very quickly with number 1 and number 2. So this is number 1. Whoopsie, sorry. Again, this is number 1 with the lighter version. This is number 2 with the deeper version. So tell me what you like better. And actually, this goes quicker, but sometimes when you're doing this with a camera right in front of you, it takes a little bit longer so that I don't bump the camera too much. So again, I'm going to kind of do this darker bit down here at the base of the leaf. And then I'm going to just fill this in with the lighter Pretty Peacock. I do love this color. I think of our current in colors, this one is probably my favorite. I love the depth of it. And you can see how just the 2 shades, just some very simple, I would call it really shading, but just some very simple little things there have brought those colors, kind of the shades, into focus there. I do like that. Anybody else going to weigh in? This is number 1, and this is number 2. Which one do you like better? Let your voice be heard, and while you're doing that, I'm just going to show you another fun thing you can do with the blends, and I think I'm going to do this with the dark one. I'm going to use my dark marker here, and this is the white ribbon with the silver edge. And this dyes beautifully with these markers. And what I love about this is because these are alcohol markers, they dry almost immediately. So you can get this custom color in just a few seconds. And one of the things that this does also is something about the ink being added. It adds just a little bit of body, a little bit of stiffness to the ribbon. So I am going to do that. And then one other thing I'm going to do before I put my card together, we're still waiting for anybody else that's going to vote, is I really like this this stamp that has, let me show it to you on the actual stamp case. It's this little pattern right here. I really like it. Almost reminds me of something on wallpaper. And so again, this is a really long stamp, and what I'm going to do is just ink that up to put it on the inside of my card. And I'm just going to go 1 there, and then I'm not going to ink it up again. And then I'm going to just offset it and do another one right there. So that is going to go on the inside of my card. Give me a nice little inside. When you have this, super dark cardstock, you don't want to have a real light, a real You can't write on this on the inside, in my opinion. So I always want to do something like that on the inside. So I will go ahead and put this down. And again, this is Pretty Peacock. Hi, Adriana. I'm glad you're watching. And the stamp set that we are using is called Beautifully Braided. There is a coordinating punch that has a braid effect to it, but I'm using just the stamp set today. And so I am going to take this right here, and I'm going to put this here like so, and build my card. This is a little bit of the Lily Impressions designer paper, which I just absolutely cannot stop using. Now I could put just a little bit of a white edge there, but I'm going to bring it all the way to the end. Again, it's just a little difference in, you know, the look of your overall design. Oh boy, I didn't trim that all the way down. Do we have a paper trimmer handy? The little portable one? It is perfect. I think that'll work. Oh, you know what? I already put that down. Oh, no, I didn't. Yay. Okay. I thought I had already attached that. This is the fun new trimmer that you can get with the starter kit. So when you join Stampin' Up, you can get this little trimmer for free. Isn't that nifty? Really sweet. So that is going to go there. And I'm going to just put this down with snail. And that is going to go like so. Now I am going to put my hand dyed ribbon. Now watch this. You see how that looks? Isn't that beautiful? Dyed to match. So I'm going to just do a simple little knot here, because this is really not enough to do a bow with. And I think a bow would be too fussy with this. It needs to be something kind of simple. So I will do that. Let me grab some scissors here. And I think this is going to need a few rhinestones. And I always like to do my ribbons on an angle. I just think it looks a little bit more, not professional so much as it looks more finished. Now, one more thing I want to do is I want to put a greeting here. And I think I planned to use white, but I probably should have used, it's not really going to show up there. Let me grab a little bit of Pool Party, because that is the ink that I used to fill in my ginkgo leaves. I used Pool Party on that. So I think that is going to be my little greeting is going to also be in Pool Party. See how much better that looks? That's going to actually show up where the white just kind of gets lost. So I don't want to use that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and stamp this. This is a really sweet greeting. And it says, "Your smile brightens my day." I like that a lot. And again, I'm just going to take my brand new trimmer that you can get for free with the starter kit. And I'm just going to trim it right at 4. And then I'm going to bring it way down about like so. So it's at about 3/4 of an inch. And then my favorite way to flag this, and I do want to flag it, is to use my trusty tailored tag punch. I probably use it more for this than anything else. So I'm just going to flag the end like so. So you can just kind of find where the ink is, and then I know I want to have a little bit of space there, and then I want to just punch that. So now I have my nice little flag to go right across here. Your smile brightens my day. I think it's coming along nicely. Hey, Gail, I'm glad you're here. And let me just close that ink pad up. So this is all done with Pool Party and Pretty Peacock. So just the two colors, almost a monochromatic card, but just different shades of the same color. And then actually I could put Pretty Peacock rhinestones on there, but I think it honestly just needs a little bit of the silver of a regular rhinestone that's going to look better. So what I'm going to do is put my flag up on a couple of dimensionals. And again, this is just, you know, I'm just creating right here with you guys. I've never made this card before. This is just kind of off the cuff. But, you know, when you have beautiful stamps, you have beautiful inks and papers, this is where Stampin' Up! Just makes it so easy for us to look like we are artists when I seriously cannot draw a stick figure to save my life. Now, actually, you know what I might do? I might just do that under there. I typically will tie this into a knot, but I kind of like that. Let's see. I might just do that. Yeah, let's see. Maybe we'll tie it in a knot. Oh, here's my knot already. I've already got my knot tied. Do I want to use the knot? Do I not want to use the knot? Maybe I don't even need it. You guys tell me what you're thinking. And you know what? While I'm waiting for a few more opinions, I think I'm going to fill in. Maybe I better just leave well enough alone. I may not like the way that looks. I was going to fill in those little berries, but it may just totally ruin the card. Sometimes less is more. And I am infamous for not leaving it alone when I need to leave it alone. So I think that I will leave it alone this time. But I am going to put some of these rhinestones just kind of raining down on my ginkgo leaves. And I think, although less is more, I think I'm going to do more on my rhinestones. So your smile brightens my day. I honestly think I might just, you like it under the sentiment. You like the ribbon under here, Jana. I think you're right. The knot is too busy. So, Jana, you have helped me. Yeah, and Gail, you're saying as well that it's a little bit different. And I do like that. So I think what I'm going to do, I could put some snail on this, but I will say, if you want to absolutely be positively certain that your ribbon is not going to shift, a glue dot is your friend every single time. These glue dots are brilliant for ribbon. So I think I'm just going to do that. And I'm just going to slide it under here like so. I don't want to stick it down all the way until I'm totally sure. And then I just need to trim that little edge there. A little bit too much ribbon right there. Okay, so that is my very, very simplified version. Here is the original card that I had done. You can see where I put the designer paper here on the first one. It was across the bottom. My second one, it's down the side. I used a longer sentiment here. I did a very simplified stamping. I mean, this just takes seconds to do because you have this stamp right here that did all the coloring for me, where this card I did coloring with the blends. So if I had done that with this card, it would have looked like this. So a much stronger, starker. But you know what? With all of this dark, I think, Jana, I think you really steered us in the right direction today. You were my co-designer today, and I like the fact that we used the Pool Party to fill in the ginkgo leaves to kind of play off of the Pretty Peacock. So that is my virtual designing for you today, and I sure thank you for tuning in and hanging out with me today, letting your opinions be known. We we did a fun little design work here with Jana being my co-designer. So I think we've had a lot of fun today. I sure thank you for tuning in. There will be a free tutorial for this particular card will appear. It will be published on my blog, which is sweetstamper.com. And I might get it on there today. It might be tomorrow before that shows up, but you will get a free PDF tutorial that will give you all the measurements and give you all the supplies so that if you wanted to recreate this lovely card, Your Smile Brightens My Day, then you would have that. And I do really love, these are just beautiful, beautiful stamps. This ginkgo is just gorgeous. Hi, Jill. And then the fact that you have such really nice greetings. So we actually utilized the ginkgo, the watercolor fill-in, and then we used this one. The only one we didn't use was the braid. And then we used this greeting here, Your Smile Brightens My Day. But I think all of these are really nice words, all kind of uplifting words, all kind of uplifting. So that is it for today. Again, be sure to go to sweetstamper.com and you will see the tutorial. The tutorial from last week's Facebook Live is already there, and those are free, so you can download those for free. And if you want to know about what's happening in my stamping world, my events, my retreats, all those kinds of things, be sure to sign up for my news, my email news, and I will have the link on here at the top of the title for this. So as soon as I publish this video, I will title it with Beautifully Braided will be in the title, because that's the stamp set we used today. And I will give you the link on there to join my email list if you have not done so already, because you'll want to be sure to stay informed on what I'm stamping and where I'm doing it, so you can join me. Thanks so much again for tuning in. Take care and God bless.